y'all will be sourdoughs. That's what we call seasoned Northmen, because they'd wear on a string, on a pouch around their neck, a little pouch with their sourdough starter. Keep it warm and alive through the winter. I understand y'all are experts on sourdough in 2020. Now I've got a great day planned for you. We're gonna find some gold. How much gold, Batty Betty? Just enough to get excited over. We're also going to see a sled dog demonstration. Our musher, Casey, actually finished her first Iditarod a little while ago. She's getting ready to do another. She'll tell you all about that. I don't want to give away too much. You'll also get to meet and hold some 6-week-old puppies.
Aww.
Now, this is very important. They are starting the day with 8 puppies. They will end the day with 8 puppies.
No, I can't promise.
You will also get to go through Batty Betty's Gold Rush training camp. That's when we will learn all about the Klondike Gold Rush and also learn all about how we got that gold you found out of the earth. And then last but not least, I didn't forget, we're going to do my favorite thing in all of Skagway, maybe all of Alaska, maybe even all of the world. We're going to get to ride that train. But before we can do any of that, we've got to go through the town of Skagway. Canadian steamboat captain. He was originally a Canadian steamboat captain who became a surveyor. Now, he was interested in this area because he thought it was not a matter of if, but when gold would be found, either in Alaska or in northwestern Canada. Now, he was interested in Skagway because we have a natural deep water port. So he built a wharf. He had a 160-acre homestead. And he had this vision of a town called Gold, where trains would come down,
Scrolling down the street.
Down with gold. Well, it would be about 10 years before anyone else had interest in this area. But things didn't really turn out really well for William Moore. No, those people who came up during the gold rush, they called them stampeders because they were such speed and number and so much energy and excitement. Well, they had such lust for gold that they drove William Moore to a little corner of his town and created their own town called Skagway. You can look to your left and look to your right and you will see the end of town. Skagway is only 4 blocks wide and 22 blocks long.
Those prospectors can even have heart attacks. And I didn't want that to happen to any of you, so don't worry. I went through all of your pans and I plucked out any gold nuggets I could find just to keep you all safe today. You're welcome. All right, well, now that you know where gold came from, more importantly, you want to know how to find gold for yourselves, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, to do that, you will need the proper equipment, including something that we call a poke. And a poke is just a word for a container that is used to stash a miner's gold. So traditionally, it might have been a leather pouch or a jar. But in this case, we're providing you with something only the grown-ups will recognize from the distant past, film canisters. And then you're also going to need a pan, and inside that pan you've got pay dirt. Now pay dirt, well, that's of course just a fancy word for dirt that hopefully has gold in it. So your job today is to wash away the dirt that's between you and your gold in there. And we're going to do that by following a simple scientific process. And so we want to start by scooping up water into these pans, and step 1 is to shake. Now we want to shake side to side and get this dirt moving so the gold sinks down to the bottom. And it's going to do that because gold is heavy, right? It's about 19 times heavier than water and 7 to 9 times heavier than anything else in that pan. So to get it under those rocks, you just want to get it moving back and forth, side to side, and really get it shaken. And you know when you've shaken enough, well, when the people next to you are soaking wet. And then you're going to hold your pan at an angle, and you want to keep shaking. So that way, you get all that dirt down into the corner. And where is the corner of a round pan? It's anywhere you want. You just shake it all down to one side, and all that gold is going to collect into this crux at the bottom right down here. And that is exactly where we want it, because now we can get rid of some of these rocks and get closer to our gold. And there are 2 ways of doing that. Here's the first leg. Yeah, that might take a bit too long. So instead, we will move on to step 2, which we call the dunk. So when we dunk, we will take our pans back to the water, and I like to keep this side of the pan flat, just to make sure we're holding this at a steep enough angle, because we're going to submerge it so the water's covering all that sediment, then we're just going to pull it right out. And when we're pulling this pans out of the water, we are letting the water rinse some of the dirt right out of the way for us.
So we're on our excursion right now. So it's a 3-part excursion. So right now we had panned for gold.
Perfect gold.
Rowan is still checking out his. Ashton's getting his assessed. And then, I'm not sure the exact order, but I think we're going to go see the puppies. And then, she said there were 6-week-old puppies there. And then we are going to go ride the train. So I'll, later today, share with you the excursion number. I know when I watched some videos, it would have been helpful if that was shared. So I'll make sure I share that with you guys. And I'll also put it in the description down below so that you know which excursion exactly this is if you're doing this trip. But also, scenery is beautiful.
All belong to my good friend Iditarod musher, a guy named Riley Deitch. He's over in Fairbanks, Alaska, and so all of our dogs here today that you'll be meeting have all done Iditarod, most of them several times even. We'll be here. I've got a short intro for you guys into the Iditarod race itself. Then we'll head over there and meet all of our dogs. Once we do that, we've got 5 dogs harnessed up, ready to go for a run. You guys will all get front seats, the excitement, the passion, the enthusiasm of all that. We'll do a short little gravel track so you guys can see them in action. But my guess is we're probably saving the best for last. We have 8 puppies here who are 6 weeks old. So, yeah, right there at their prime cutest level, I think. But all those puppies, though, one day they will be on the Iditarod Trail. That's the goal with their musher, a guy named Victor Lazo. And Iditarod, that's our famous race up here in Alaska. It's like the Super Bowl of the mushing world. The race itself, it starts 2 hours north in Willow, or 2 hours north of Anchorage in Willow, Alaska, and goes all the way north to Nome. Now that 1,000 miles is pretty similar as driving from New York City down to Miami, Florida. And it'll take the teams about 8 to 14 days to do that. But back when it first started in 1973, it took them 20 to 30 days to finish that course. And it got started back in 1973 thanks to a guy named Joe Reddington Sr. He's the father of the Iditarod. What Joe noticed was the sewing machines and the airplanes, they were taking over the transportation role from the dogs. The dogs up here, they have been used for thousands of years for traveling and transportation across the state of Alaska. And he did not want to see them go extinct. His Iditarod race was his way to preserve their legacy. Every year the race starts the very first Saturday in March. Before the race starts though, all of our dogs, they must pass a pre-race vet exam. They have their horses set by EKG machine, blood work, and a full physical. Out there on the trail, all that vet gear still continues. All these different names behind me, those have been checkpoints or stops on the race trail. And every single one, our dogs get a full physical. And there's about 40 to 50 veterinarians out there. They look at our dogs' hearts, lungs, feet, hydration, body weight, and also any concerns that we might have with our dogs as well. With our team though, we'll travel the trail by using this dog right here. It's about 30 pounds, fully loaded, looking at closer to 100 pounds. So all the mushers will stand right here on the sled, and I can steer this just like I'm downhill skiing. I can shift my weight from side to side. We also have this back section right here called a tail dragger. So besides standing, this gives me the option to also sit down. We'll get him in a race here pretty soon too. But Pilot moving over dogs with us today, they're we call the Alaskan Huskies. And I know a lot of times folks come here, they think with the blue-eyed, fluffy tail, Siberian Husky, the Hollywood superstar-looking dog. But we don't use that dog more than they do anymore because they're an AKC recognized purebred show dog. And they are bred for their strong appearance, which is why we all see one, but we don't recognize what kind of dog that is. Whereas our Alaskan Huskies here, they usually get mistaken for a
We'll go selling the dogs.
I think this is our version of the Fast and the Furious. You gotta see Casey come around this corner and take an Alaskan drift. Let's give our team a big round of applause.
Good job, guys.
They're so dope.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to the team as soon as we give everybody a nice reward snack for their hard work. Good job, guys.
The short for the feast.
So back here in our wheel dog position, we have 7-year-old Squirt and 4-year-old Baloo. Squirt was actually born and raised on our tour 7 years ago. When he was a newborn puppy, he just looked like a pile of tater tots in the palm of your hand. So we have a nickname for him here. We call him Tater Tot as well. But Squirt went off and ran a few Iditarods and became a big shot. And we have him back here as a celebrity for you guys to show off. And this year is Baloo. Baloo is 4 years old. We have a nickname for her as well. We call her the Energizer Bunny. She will not stop, even when she goes back to her pen. So you'll see her keep on doing some circles. And here in our swing dog position, we have our oldest dog here, 12-year-old Apollo. Apollo definitely isn't act his age. He still acts like a young puppy. At 12 years old, you would think he would be a really good lead dog, but it's actually the opposite. We have a nickname for him around here. We call him the Unguided Missile. And here in our lead dog position, we have this 2 years old. Yep, that's right. This big guy, he's just 2 years old. His name is Pallet, and he's learning to become a
Pilot, you already pet him.
A lead dog. And he's running next to a well-experienced lead dog. Her name is Fable. She's 4 years old, and she actually was the lead dog. Casey crossed the finish line in Nome, and became making them the 808th rookie team to ever complete that Iditarod. So
Nice.
Good job, guys. We're gonna get these guys back to their pens and get them to water and get some puppies in your guys' hands. All right, guys, thanks for coming. We're just kidding. We're going to give these guys a little bathroom break. They are 6-week-old puppies, so if they need to go, they will go. So we're trying to make sure everything gets out now. In case they do have an accident on you, we have baby wipes, so we'll get you cleaned up ready for your next adventure. Also, some more guidelines before we hand out the puppies. Please don't put the puppies directly on the ground. There's a lot of feet here. We don't want them to get stepped on. Also, no flash photography. Most importantly, there's 8 puppies and about 100 of you guys. So please get your pictures, your cuddles in, and share with your neighbor next to you. And most importantly, we have 8 puppies. At the end, we'll also have 8 puppies. So don't put them in your bags, in your backpacks.
She'd save up enough money that she'd open a hotel, and she would even serve a term as mayor of Skagway. Another entrepreneur, you may have heard of her. Her name is Belinda Mulroney. Now, Belinda never had any intention of looking for gold. She came up here not only with her required goods by law, but she has luxury goods, water bottles, lace, fine hats, fine jewels, and mugs, all kinds of luxury goods. And she didn't bring these for herself, she brought them because she wanted to sell them.
Oh! I actually thought we were gonna go on that bridge. You don't see a big hole in a bridge.
Well, good thing he's not driving.
Hope you, thank God you don't try this thing, yeah? Because he did, he kills all of us, including yourself.
Well, if I was driving this, I would know not to go on that bridge.
I don't even doubt it. You know, where is it?
No.
Yay!
like when they're in full bloom. And this is what Alaska looks like in the winter. At the end of June, when we had our summer solstice, we had about 18 and a half hours of real daylight. And then kind of dusky for the remaining hours. It's not extreme down here in the southeast, but in winter that's going to be flipped. Now once you get up to the Arctic Circle, well, in their winter, of where the Northwest Mounted Police would stay as they enforce those rules at the border. 6 men would uncomfortably be inside.
6 men with a baby.
6 men and a baby, that sounds like a show. And we have now crossed into Canada. Oh, Canada, my home and sovereign land. Any Canadians on board? Welcome home! Now, of course you are. You're talking about poutine. This is Summit Lake. It's a ribbon lake, which just means that it's long and skinny. There are fish in here. We have Arctic trout and grayling. Batty Betty. How did fish get to the top of a mountain? Well, you see, fish eggs are extremely adhesive. They stick to the talons of burn. A burn might fly by. The eggs would drop off of the talons. And if it ended up in an environment where these fish could thrive, that's how they'd end up there.
So we're at the silent disco. They call it something a little bit different, but it's so quiet. Everybody's jamming. And both boys are gonna do it too. Let me show me some moves. Whoa. Don't break yourself.
Music.
Alright, our dinner tonight is at Animator's Pallet. Let me show you the menu. Alright, we all three got the black truffle pasta per set. I wasn't wrong. Fine. He says fine. But they're all gone in like 2 seconds. And I also got the Serrano ham. That sounded good. So let you know. Alright, Rowan got the bolognese. Ashton got the kids surf and turf.
This is not a pig. It's a grown man, sir.
And I got the lemon chicken.
If you knew what I ate for lunch, you would be the most happy.
Rowan ended up not liking the squash soup. He asked for the pea soup instead. I don't know if I'll actually give it to him though, but we'll see.
Oh crap.
I actually don't feel like, too bad at the moment.
birthday girl? Some more to poke? I cannot believe I'm doing this. Please, please, please. Someday, Boo, we'll be rich, live in a palace, and never have any problems at all.
Well, he's tall and handsome and so romantic.
I'm tired of taking. I want to make things. I want to add something to this world.
I've been looking out the window for 18 years, dreaming about what it might feel like when those lights rise in the sky.
Alright, our animal tonight is the elephant. I'm going to try to talk a little bit quiet because it's like 10:45, so I don't know if my neighbors are sleeping. Canning, sled dogs, and the white rail pass. I will include the proper name of it and the Disney's excursion number for you, so you know exactly which one it is. So if you were to go onto the Disney website, they do change them slightly here and there. So know that it might be a little bit different, or maybe that number, if you're watching this, you know, a bit into the future, may no longer be the one. So just be aware of that. But I thought it would always be helpful if they would have shared that information with me when I was watching different videos on the Alaska cruise. So I want to make sure I include that with you. So that will be here, and then the description below. So we got on a bus. We met in New York. Got a sticker. We were Bluebell, and then there's it was a pretty large group. They had split us in half. Our group had 38, and then the other group I think had like, you know, about the same, 35, 38. We were assigned to Batty Betty. We all had like fun names, Klondike Mike, and that's the only two that I really know, but they were fun names. And Betty was goofy, tiny little gal. And so she, you know, told us stories, she told us poems, she even sang like the song for the flag of Alaska to us. But we started off getting in the bus. It took us over to Alaska 360, where we learned how to do the gold panning. And they gave us some pay dirt, and you go in there. The water is heated. I mean, it wasn't hot by any means, but definitely wasn't cold. And so you dredge your pay and see what you got. Rowan got like $13 worth of gold. I got like 10, I think it was, in Ashton. Well, actually, I think mine was 9, and Ashton was like 10. So we didn't make it rich in the gold panning business. And we learned all about the different you know, how they would use dredges, and it was really it was interesting to me. A lot of the kids were getting a little antsy about this part. And then we got to learn about the Iditarod and dog racing, the little booties they wear, how they eat out on the trail. They carry the straw and they make them little beds. It was really cool. The gal that did a race before the pandemic, she was originally from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so yay, Michigan representing. So it was really also cool that she was a female musher as well. Just to hear, you know, her story was really cool. So, and then she, like, you know, put some of the kind of the myths you see in the movies to rest, and, you know, confirmed some things, which was cool. Then we got to see some of the mature dogs. I think all the ones that we saw, maybe except for 2 or 3, were retired, because there was like an 11-year-old in there. But we got to see those dogs, and they just were kind of let loose in a run, and they just would come up to you if they wanted to. If they didn't, they didn't. And they walked a couple around on leashes that were, I think, ones that tend to jump or get a little angsty. So they walked those ones around on leashes to, you know, try to help promote them to visit with us. So that was nice. And then we got to see them hooked up to like a training sled, and that was cool to watch them come out of the chute with Casey and kind of around. Those dogs love it. They were so excited, so happy to do that little exercise and show us what they got. And then we got to see the puppies. So they had 6-week-old puppies. I think there was 8 of them, So we all got to hold them, like not very long, which that is my only complaint about this excursion. It's a very expensive excursion, and if you're being fair and like equitable, you probably only got like a minute with that puppy, and then you had to like pass it off to your neighbor or the kid, because there was a lot of us there. Like I said, our group, you know, was 38, and then if you take in that other group, that was probably another, you know, 35-ish, and plus there were some people from Princess and Holland America there as well. So I mean, there was a lot of people. So you really didn't, and there was like 8 puppies. You really didn't get time. Ashton was able to like weasel his way to getting to touch more than one puppy. But Rowan and I, you know, only got like probably 30 seconds to a minute, you know, with the puppies. So I think that was unfortunate for how much it was. And let's see, you learned more about gold panning, you know, after that. When we got back on the bus and went over to the train, got on the train. The train, I think it's like a 2-hour ordeal. I think it's like an hour up and maybe an hour down or something like that. We got a turkey sandwich. I mean, it was like a very basic turkey sandwich. Kind of felt like a school field trip that we were on. But it was actually pretty tasty. So we got a turkey sandwich and a bottle of water on the way up. And then on the way down, we got a little pack that had like a Milano cookie in it, and a chunk of cheddar cheese, and some crackers, and like this much sparkling apple cider. I'm surprised they didn't give us more water on the way down, but you know, whatever. So you were definitely kind of hungry on this training experience. And then, so on the train, you know, we got to see like the cemetery. We had to learn even more about people coming, you know, through the area trying to get Dawson City, and learn more about like some of the scams that were happening along the way, how the papers really misled people, how, you know, they had to have a ton of goods, and so a lot of great information. Like I said, it was a very long experience. So this excursion was 6 hours, like 6.5 hours. And then there was some little kids on this one, and the train was definitely not exciting for them. And I was surprised, like, there was even some adults that fell asleep on the train. I'm like, this was an expensive excursion and you're falling asleep on the train. But more power to them. I know the boys were getting a little like, ugh, this is kind of boring, like, when am I going to be done? And you do lose, like, cell service halfway through the thing. So, I don't know. I don't know if I think I would suggest this excursion if you are just really interested in that time period in American history. If you're really interested in like last frontier prairie, you know, Oregon Trail sort of living stuff, Hatfields and McCoys are almost, you know, feeling stuff, I think you'll find it interesting. And I'm kind of into that. So I really liked listening to the history that Betty was sharing. I liked hearing, you know, about the scams. You know, I thought that was very interesting. So it kept me pretty well engaged. But at points, I wish she would have stopped talking so that we could have just really took in the beauty and the splendor of what we were seeing. But she was constantly just telling us something, which is great. But at the same time, I would have liked a little reflective time. So just be aware of that. You're not going to have a really time to think, because she's pretty consistently telling you something. And it may be different, excuse me, with a different storyteller, with a different host. And something I didn't really think about until she said it. Well, I think it popped into my head before she brought it up, but you're also supposed to tip those people on the excursions. I didn't really think about it because I had like in the thought in my head with Adventures by Disney, all the tips are taken care of except for your adventure guides, so like your drivers, your bellhops, you know, other people that come and talk to you. It's all taken care of except for the times you're on your own. So then she was like, oh yeah, we do work for tips. I'm like, oh crap. Like, you know, luckily I still had some cash, so we were able to tip her. But I didn't really think about it till then. So just remember that you probably should tip these folks. So yeah, that was our excursion. We came back. Rowan and I went and got a snack. Ashton stayed in the room. He got room service. He's definitely utilizing room service. Rowan and I have not really at all. After that, I got in the pool in the adult only area and the hot tub. It was nice. I was the only one in the pool because it was actually a beautiful day, as you guys saw, and I'm sure I have it recorded where Betty was saying how this is the best weather they've had, you know, in like weeks, and all the cabin, you know, crew members on the ship have also said that too, like, wow, the weather is just gorgeous today. So we went to the silent disco, which I got some footage of that for you guys. That was fun. Did you like the silent disco, Rowan?
Huh?
Did you like the silent disco?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised how into it the kids were. I wish they would have had a little bit more, like, fun poppy songs. We went to dinner at Animator's Pallet tonight, which was cool. Rowan was interested to see. It is so tight in there, though. I kind of felt like we were sitting on top of each other, like not necessarily me and my family, but me and strangers, which sucked. But it was cool seeing, you know, the screens with the animations, and then like when it's kind of the show where everything comes to color. That was cool. Then Mickey comes out and does like a little to the Fantasmic music. We didn't have a great, like, we haven't had a great table this whole time, which really kind of sucks. You know, all the restaurants are small, so it's not like you can really have a bad table. But I would say Animator's Palette was kind of a bad table, because Mickey comes in and he kind of just sticks to the middle, and there was, says they love all the time. The first bite I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like this, but it did grow on me, and Rowan was like, meh about it. He ate them, but it was indifferent. Ashton ate them all, so I'm assuming he likes them, which kind of surprised me, but they definitely grew on me after the first one. They never did bring Rowan his split pea soup, so he just had the butternut squash soup, and he didn't like that, so I took that away for him. Let's see, what else did we have? My main was good. I had the lemon thyme chicken. Owen had the bolognese. He liked it. He ate all of that. Ashton actually ordered from the kids menu, which I think I might do tomorrow. Try to get one of the kids salads, because the salads tend to be a little too fancy for us. We just kind of like basic salads, and I would like a salad, so I might do that tomorrow. Let's order partly off the kids menu. And then dessert, we had the walnut cake and the it was an Alaska one. It was like lingonberry tart or something like that with vanilla frozen yogurt. It was good. Both of them are good. I wish the walnut cake was a little bit more flavorful, but I love walnuts, so that's the main reason I got it, and the walnuts were great. So but yeah, so then after that I got my picture. I went to go to Connect at Sea because I bought 2 large internet packages this trip so far, and I just bought the one yesterday, and I logged in today to check the usage meter, and it says it's gone. It's like, what the heck? Like, there's no way that it can be gone. And we were off the ship all day long. I went to my phone's normal service right away as soon as like we were in port. It doesn't make any sense, but Connect at Sea was not there, so I'll have to get them tomorrow morning and ask them to explain this to me, because it does not make sense. I've closed everything. There's no reason I should have expelled it. I don't understand. So I'll talk to them. And that kind of ends out our night. All in all, a good day. Yeah. So tomorrow is Juneau. We have a whale watching and wilderness exploration, or wildlife exploration. So definitely check back with us. Subscribe, like, and read that notification bell. Any questions, put it down below. And now I will include today's resource. So if you don't need a resource, you can head out. But if you would like to know about a resource for you or your family or friends, stick around. Thanks.
All right, the resource for today's video is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So they offer confidential, anonymous, compassionate support, crisis intervention, education, and safety planning, and referral services. Sorry about my finger there. You can reach them at 1-800-799-7233, or you can text them to 88788. All right, and I'll include this information in the description below. Please let me know if you have any questions.